It's a real good job that my son is asleep downstairs, and I've got to keep my voice down. That's all I will say. I'm really angry at football. Really, genuinely angry at football. I can switch off for football, and I can do, and I will switch off. I'm a human being. Every now and then, I watch a game of football, and it just annoys me. It genuinely annoys me. And once again, I've got to keep my voice down, so I'm not going to get too angry. And I'm not a shouter anyway, but disappointed, man. Truly disappointed. Truly disappointed in the team. Because that was inexcusable. Like, truly inexcusably bad. That was worse than any of the losses by a long way. I still respect these players. I still think they're cracking footballers there. But there are mistakes there that cannot be made. Absolutely, categorically not be made. That have to have consequence. That have to be answered for. That they need a reaction. Like, there has to be a reaction to that. Absolutely has to be a reaction to that. This team has achieved so much. It's absolutely, it's a team of legend. It is. There's brilliant players there. There's phenomenal players there. But that is just utter head loss of the highest degree. And I actually understood the other losses more, because you can put that down to injuries to an extent. Poor mentality, of course, but you can see why, with the combination of injuries and a lack of fitness, why 40 minutes into the 35 minutes into the game, that they started to lose their energy and their confidence, and it all sort of spiraled. You can see why that happened. But in that scenario, no. In that scenario, absolutely no excuse. I'm sorry, but you can see why the confidence dipped in the other games. But this isn't like Spurs. This isn't the Premier League and it's 0-0 and then you concede a goal and you've tried your best and things aren't going right and then it dips. 3-0 up, man. Like, 3-0 up. Like, you're 3-0 up at home and your confidence is there. Your striker scored a couple of goals. Gundogan scored a goal. And you're cruising, and Feyenoord expect nothing. And you've got literal treble winners on the pitch. Look, this is not good enough. These are absolute, these are experienced players. Like, what good is all that experience gained if not for moments like that? Look, this doesn't mean every single player needs to be binned and they all need to take around and put a bullet in the back of the head. But you've got a right to be angry now. We've got a right now, 10:15 on a Tuesday night, to be annoyed by this. I truly got a right. And this isn't me demanding that they're all out and all done and all that kind of stuff, but this ain't going to be one of those ones where Pep goes and says, walks into that dressing room. Pep is going to be livid. He's going to be livid. He's going to be livid at his players. That is head loss. And Pep's got to get a reaction out of them as well. He has to get a reaction out of them. He absolutely does. I suspect he will, by the way, because I feel like if there's one person you don't really cross in football, it's probably Pep Guardiola. But that was pathetic, and I suspect he'll tell them that. This is, I know we've had a worse run than the Southampton game back in 2022, where it was sort of nadir that season, where the Happy Flowers team, where Southampton beat us 2-0. I'm not Pep out, I'm not that stupid. But that game that prompted a sort of reaction, like a dressing down. I honestly, this is that level where this could genuinely put some people out of the team. It could genuinely put some people out of the team. And I think there's too much. You have to be better than that. I'm sorry, you have to be better than that. You cannot make those mistakes. I understand a mistake can be made. People blaming Simpson Pusey, by the way. Those goals are on Guardiola and Edison. Absolutely just shocking. Just genuinely shocking mistakes. Let's look at the team that was on the pitch at the end there. You had De Bruyne is a treble winner. Then you had on the pitch, who else you had on there? You had Edison, who's a treble winner. Kanji, who's a treble winner. Who else? Bernardo Silva, who's a treble winner. Jack Grealish, who's a treble winner. Erling Haaland, who's a treble winner. Rico Lewis technically is as well. Nunes is a Premier League winner. You know, Vardiol's a Premier League winner. World Cup semi-finalist. I'm sorry, but no. I'm sorry, but no. You know how to keep the ball. This is not an acceptable reaction. It has no bearing on today. No, it absolutely does. I'm sorry, mate. But that experience has to matter in games like this. Like, when you've had that much experience and you've been through it all and you sense the tide is shifting, you have to have someone who says, fucking sit back, keep it simple, play it tight, drop deep if you have to, and keep the fucking ball. It's not complicated. It really is not complicated. It isn't. And like the line for those goals, stupid, terrible. What is Ederson doing, mate? I love you, Ederson. Kamikaze stuff. Like Vardiol. Look. Vardiol needs a rest. I absolutely agree with this super chat here from Nicholas. I think Vardiol's a cracking player, but he's been making mistake after mistake after mistake. And this is the problem with injuries, for what it's worth. When you've got injuries and you've got to play, there's no consequence. There is no consequence because you're going to have to play every single week. If Ake was fit, I said about 2 months ago that I would put Ake in the team if he was fit right now anyway. And people say, what are you doing? Vardiol's been great. And some of you watching this will probably remember that. I said it on Twitter. But what I meant by that is you need steadiness right now. And I think Vardiol is not necessarily steady. I don't think he is. I think Vardiol's a cracking player. But when you want when you want to grind out a bit of form, you want your warriors there, and you want your steady people. And honestly, I would start Ake left back a billion percent at Anfield. You're not playing Oscar Vardiol against Salah right now. He's going to be a world-class player, and he has world-class traits, Oscar Vardiol, already. But right now, I'm with Nicholas on this. Like, Vardiol needs, I feel sorry for him a bit, but he needs a spell, even at least 90 minutes on the sidelines. Like, this is the low point. This is genuinely the low point of This might even be the low point of Guardiola's reign at City, in terms of when you add the context of the 5 losses in a row. Like, this is, I mean, it could be Anfield, but I expect it to get beat at Anfield anyway. But when you add the context of where we were 3-0 up, like, this is probably the low point of Guardiola's Man City reign. And look, do I feel like Guardiola's incapable of turning it around? No, I don't. But this is sort of like, I would have rather have lost that 2-0, 1-0, 2-0 than drawing that way. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying there? Like losing that tonight 1-0 or 2-0 would feel less painful than that draw, because it's funny, by the way. Like, I know, there's a lot of people watching this, and it's funny how I know a large percent of this are fans of rival teams. I can honestly say, by the way, personally, I've never tuned into a rival stream after they've lost. I don't find it interesting, but I'm glad you guys do want to see watch me here, sit here and do this. But yeah, it's truly, genuinely, it's shit, is what we're saying. And like, I don't know what the solution is right now. Like, I would expect and hope, like, someone like Diaz. Like, it's Diaz for me is, I feel, the potential difference. Like, Diaz, you know what's really worrying for me? Is that there's a real chronic lack of leadership in this side right now. And I think there's been, I get the injuries take you so far, I do, but there's a real chronic lack of leadership, and that to me is more concerning than any of the injuries, than any of the current issues with fitness and all that kind of stuff. Like, we have to have some responsibility. There has to be responsibility, and no one's taking it. In fact, people are shirking responsibility. They are ducking and making silly mistakes. And I do understand fitness leads into it a little bit, but 3 goals that quickly? No, it's not good enough. And where do we go from here? Like, right now, anger is a totally acceptable reaction, I would argue. I'll calm down by the morning, I'll be calm, because ultimately, football, is what it is. But you do wonder if my worry, my honest, sincere worry, is if these players have the hunger. I don't mean hunger in terms of Are they lazy? I mean, given some of the ages of these players, do they have the energy, not the hunger, to go again to fix this? Like, that's what I'm worried about. I'm genuinely worried because they've done it all, and it's easy to fix something if it's a little bit bad, but it's really bad right now, and this requires, like, when things are this shit as they are right now, and I understand the circumstantial blah blah, things can change like in football, but right now is a real problem. This is like, look at yourself in the mirror problem. Like, when things are this bad, it requires a proper dressing down. It requires reflection and introspection to fix it. And I worry how much some of these guys will have the patience or desire to do that. Because I wouldn't blame some of them for wanting just to be like, I've done my bit here. I'm not having the energy for it, because essentially what's needed now potentially is a sort of a new journey. Like, this team is going to have to go on a long road, and that's what I'm worried about. Like, I worry how much of these can go again. Do you know what I'm saying there? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how much some of these guys, if they can some of these guys are going to have to dig deep, basically. Super chat from 321 Byte. It says Division 2 all over again. Yeah, I mean, I've been there, mate. You know, we've been there, we've seen it before. A lot of us have. I'm 39, so I've seen that. And I know it's funny because I'm sure some of the rivals will be watching this thinking, this guy who supported Chelsea in 2008 or supporting it. No, I didn't, mate. I was there. I saw it all, which probably why I'm reasonably calm about these things, even if I'm furious right now. Sort of that stuff is irrelevant given the context where. Thank you for the super chat, mate. Appreciate it. But I do worry about the hunger and where we go from here. Diaz said, I don't think it's that deep, mate, and that's the problem with our players. Yeah, is it that deep? Like, is it that deep for them? Like, I am concerned about that. Like, I'm concerned about it. And, like, before that, like, what's worrying for me is that someone just said in the chat, Nunes went missing, and that sort of reminded me to talk about the individual players. Nunes actually did play pretty well up until that point. He did actually play pretty well. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend there wasn't some positives until that moment. But what annoyed me is how quickly all that positive energy and all that momentum and confidence just disappeared, man. It disappeared. And I understand some young lads came on, but this is not like... I saw people go, this is why we can't bring the young lads on. No. I'm sorry, but no. There's enough experience in there. We've seen it a billion times at every single level. A billion times at every single level for Man City, where we've got to this point where we're 3-0 up in the Champions League at home, and we brought on, go back as far as Phil Foden 7 years ago, Brahim Diaz. We brought on, who else have we brought on? Michael Hamilton. We brought on loads of young players before, and we've been absolutely fine. We've seen it so many times. We brought on Tosin Adarabioyo at one point many years ago. Like, I can't remember all the guys, but basically, I don't blame the young players on this. Like, I really don't. This is a head loss from the senior players. This is players you should know better doing far too bad. Has to be better than that. They have to be better than that, because this is entirely on the players on the pitch that should know better. Nigel says, City, we know Rodri is best in the world. We can stop this now. City, like, we know Rodri's best in the world. We can stop this now. Yeah. Look, the PR campaign for Rodri to be proven as the best in the world, City are doing a remarkable job right now, aren't they? Fuck me. Rodri gets better every single week right now. I miss that beautiful man. I really do, Nigel. We knew the fallout would be bad, by the way, about Rodri, but Jesus Christ, this City... Puff says, I called it in the morning, told a friend of mine to bet on a draw, said that City would play them off the park in the first half and play like United in the second half. My pal lost because he bet on PSG, but damn do I know my boys. I hate you, mate, but I love you at the same time. You should have told me that, pal, and I would have put a bet on it too. Sure you didn't call 3-0, pal. Like, surely you didn't call 3-0. Maybe you thought 2-0, maybe, but this level, 3-0 up, I'd be amazed if you knew that, pal. But 3-0 up with like 20 minutes left. Kevin De Bruyne coming on. We stopped the losing streak. We did indeed. How do we fix this? I want to know what people really feel. I don't know how we fix this. For me, it's one of those things where we're going to have to accept that for right now, this is something that we're going to have to accept and somehow deal with. I don't know how we deal with that. I think it is get to January. I said get to January after the Fulham game when we won, and I did feel that for this spell right now that City are in, the only thing that's going to solve it is some aggressive decision making from Guardiola. Some of these players actually taking responsibility. Maybe some injuries clearing up. Maybe we just survive and keep treading water somehow until January. And some people don't think we'll sign him in January. I think at this point it'd be inexcusable not to. I think we have to shake things up. That's it. I'm with John. I think some of this was so bad that 2 years ago, Rico Lewis put Cancelo on the bench as a kid because Guardiola was so furious. Do not be surprised at some point to see Guardiola do something like that where he drops a senior player or two. I wouldn't be surprised if Guardiola's not angry enough to drop fucking Vardy and Ederson after that. I don't know if he will do, but I think we need to start in January with some sort of rebuild as such, because my biggest worry is do some of these players have the energy to fix this? I really do worry about that. And I don't know if they do. I really don't. The first goal, by the way. The first goal. That, I feel... Vardy, he's a talented footballer, but right now, he's absolutely... He's sinking right now. He's sinking right now. And this is once again where... This is not an excuse, but this is just a fact. This is where if get to June at this point, maybe you're right. This is where if obviously everyone was fit, Ake would be in the team. Simple as that. And Ake doesn't make those mistakes. He doesn't make those mistakes. Vardy needs to go. Come on, man. Vardy was great until he played every single week. I think Vardy is a classic example where he would have been out of the team 3 weeks ago, Vardy. He would have been out of the team 3 weeks ago if Guardiola could call on his squad. That doesn't excuse it. And I still think the Headloss level is unacceptable. But it's where we are. And it doesn't matter if you think that's right or not. The point is we're in this situation. And regardless of how we got there, it's a fucking shit show. And which I don't know how to fix. That's the point. Regardless of... Yeah, we could all argue about what causes it, whatever. The point is we're there. It doesn't matter. The journey's irrelevant. And I don't know how we fix it. Gomez says the season's over. We need to start building for the next season. I don't know. It's City, January. Some players a player could come in, a Zubimendi type or whatever. KDB could start playing regularly. Kovacic could be back. And all of a sudden, think football. I think it's stupid to presume that this is who City are right now. City will start winning games at some point. It will happen. It just might be a while. And I've seen enough of football to know that City aren't going to City aren't going to finish 10th. Some of you guys think City are going to finish 10th here. This is not going to happen. Maybe I'm wrong, and this clip will come back to haunt me. But there is still stuff to play for. It can easily happen. It can easily happen where things can just change. I'm not expecting us to win the league or the Champions League or anything like that. I'm not at all. But I am realistic. I know this team could go on a good run at some point, but I also know that this situation, I think everything's caught up for us. It's caught up for us. It really has. And I think we have to be... I think right now, basically, the sensible thing to do is to presume the worst. And I think there's too much evidence in the face. And what would the worst conclusions be? If you were going in a sort of cautious panic state, the conclusions would be, is the squad too small? I would argue yes. Are some players the wrong side of 30? I would argue yes. And maybe it's time catching up? Yes. Is there potentially a drop-off in hunger or maybe energy to fix this? I would argue yes. Are one or two players even of the right age, short of quality? I would argue yes. I think you have to presume the worst here to potentially try and fix this. And I think you have to go, will this take a long time to fix? Yes. So when's the best time to start? Tomorrow. I think you have to start presuming this requires surgery, because I don't think you can fucking wait, because I think this could get worse before it gets better. And I think the only way is to get in there and fucking dig about and start fixing it. And I think that includes January. This is why, for me, January signings are important, because I don't think this changes quickly. I don't think this changes by sitting back and presuming it'll fix itself. I think there was always concerns about complacency. There was always concerns about the squad size. There was always concerns about leaning on a player or two far too much. We're leaning on Haaland far too much right now. We leaned on Rodri, and look at what happened there. There was always concerns that maybe some people were too old or too injury prone, and this has happened. I was always totally prepared to give the benefit of the doubt always and trust in them, because they'd earned that. But the worst things have come to fruition, and the biggest concern for me, more than injuries, more than squad size, more than players' quality, is I don't know if some of these players can go again, because why would they? Too many of these players might be thinking, even KDB, even Gundogan, even Bernardo, even Stones or Ake or whatever, might be thinking, do I really need to go again? Do I? Can I go live somewhere sunnier and have a nice time? They're not young, you know. They're not young, and this is a big job. And if I was there in their shoes, look, I'm a City fan, so it's different. But if I wasn't a City fan, I don't know. I think I'd be fancying sunny climates somewhere. James Barr with the super set says, drop Guardiola, his confidence is shot. I agree. And drops is a strong word, but rotate him if you can, 100%. And look, mate, that would have happened 4 weeks ago, if Ake was fit. But, you know, he barely has been. But I think if Diaz is available at the weekend, I think Guardiola might find himself on the bench anyway. I wouldn't have played Guardiola if he was playing at his best and Ake was fit anyway, because it's Salah, isn't it? You know, so yeah. Thanks, mate, for the super chat. Cheers for the super chats, by the way. Massively appreciated. I'm trying to be reasonable a bit, by the way. I'm trying not to be a childish prick about this. I'm trying to actually look at it honestly, you know. And I think I am staying pretty humble, as everyone's put. You know, like, I swear a third of these comments are stay humble and 115 and all that kind of stuff, or whatever. Stay humble, you know. I actually think I am being pretty humble. You know, like, I'm not going, come back when you've got a treble, come back when you've got 4 in a row. I mean, I could say that and it'd all be true. Because all you've got is catchphrases, you know, original catchphrases. But I'd rather actually talk about like an adult, you know. Guardiola said it's not necessary to say anything to the City players. Let's have a look here for Guardiola. They know perfectly. Guardiola has, I guarantee you, he's gone in on them. There's no way that Guardiola hasn't. Yeah, there's no way Guardiola's been quiet on this. There's no way. He will absolutely go in on them. He'll understand when his players play well. He'll understand when his players are tired. He'll understand when things have to be better. And this sort of mistakes, but he will not accept those mistakes. You've seen the documentary. He was furious at Phil Foden when he gave that penalty away. I've forgotten who it was now. My head's in pieces. He was like, just like, Phil, you can't punch the player. You remember that? He'll be furious about this because he'll understand. Like this, this was a chance to sort of steady things. And you're in such a good position. You got one fucking job. And it's literally not to concede 3 goals. It was Palace, yeah, it was Palace. Thank you, Drew, for the Foden thing. 3 goals in 15 minutes. That was all your job was. Oh, come on, man. Absolutely. Someone just said Pep can't coach for shite. Pep can't coach for shite. By the way, just as a sort of quick, I would argue it's a fact check, but I can't prove it's a fact. It isn't possible. It isn't possible to win everything that Guardiola has won and have the respect and love from some. This is just a quick side note here from the trolls or the brain dead idiots. Someone says Pep can't coach. You cannot have the love and appreciation for some of the greatest to ever play the game. Xabi Alonso, Philip Lahm, Iniesta, Xavi, Messi, Dani Alves, David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, all these geniuses, and there's a billion I forgot to mention there. You cannot have the love and respect and desire of all these people and break as many records and win what you have without being a good coach. You can't. You don't have to like him. All Spanish. De Bruyne, classic Spanish player there. Messi, classic Spanish player there. Philip Lahm, classic Spanish player. Shut up, you idiot. Shut up. Just a slight fact check there. You know, you. Come on. Anyway, Pep is obviously having a bad spell right now. Of course he is, man. I'm not an idiot. I can admit that. I think Pep's made some mistakes. But let's just not be stupid here, man. Let's not be stupid. Gomez says, sorry, we should be more detailed. January, we need to heavily invest in new young hungry players. Same can be said for the summer. Screw net spend. Oh, you earlier said season's over, didn't you, mate? I'll be amazed if we sign 2 players in January. I think the best we'll get is 1. I'm fine with that. I think even 1's a massive improvement on what City usually do. I keep banging the Zubimendi drum. Someone like him, it just makes sense, you know. Someone like that, someone who's very good, who become world class, who's touching on world class already. Someone like that who would fit into this team and this system like a glove. Absolutely, and I agree, mate. We have to. It's a 2017 level summer. You know, when we signed Edison, we signed Bernardo Silva. We signed Kyle Walker. Who else did we sign? I think they signed Mendy and Danilo that summer as well. Yeah, it was a proper big summer where they signed a whole bunch of players and removed on loads. You know, it's that level summer. Yeah, so it's that level summer needed. Zubimendi won't fix this. Nothing's fixing this, mate. Time will. But is Zubimendi the right profile, and would he complement Rodri, help Rodri when he's back? I think he would do. I think Zubimendi would do a damn sight better as well as a 6 than some of these players because he can actually play there. I actually do want physicality a little bit more. I want a Fernandinho type. Of course I want a Fernandinho type. Why wouldn't I want that? Right, anyway. I don't have much more to say. I know 1,000 people are watching this video, which I very much appreciated. But like, if there's any questions you guys want answered, but you know, where do we go from here? Like, is any more Guardiola quotes come out? Pep with a super chat, which I appreciate as always. Says rival fans enjoying this while they can. Love it. Hope they can keep the same spirit once we're back, and 115 is the only argument left. Not quite, mate. Quite. Yeah, exactly. I get it. We've made your life a misery, so you want to have some fun. I would be doing the same. I mean, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably be spending some time with my wife instead. But you know, I understand. Lots of you have got school in the morning, so you're keeping yourself busy before your mum tells you to go to bed. So I get it. So yeah, fair enough. You do that. But it is what it is. Not good. Frustrating. Shit. Fuck me, man. This is weird, isn't it? It's a different feeling. It's a totally different feeling. Like Guardiola said, by the way, said the game. Like he's not wrong here. He said this. Guardiola said the game is not over, never over. But at 3-0, I could not see any danger, and he's absolutely right to feel that way. He's absolutely right. He's right. He's just 100% right. This wasn't. It didn't feel dangerous, this game. It was not like we were. Yeah, just not good enough. Just not good enough. And I am dreading Anfield. I already was prior to that anyway. Not looking good. Look good. Pep does not look happy there. Jesus, Pep is an unhappy man. Look at that Pep face there, man. Guys, I need to sleep. Good night. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.